Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next video. This one is going to be my initial impressions and also a trailer analysis for the upcoming Netflix show, The Dragon Prince, which was revealed today at the San Diego Comic-Con panel covering the reveal of The Dragon Prince. So they'd been sort of hyping this up for the last couple of weeks, that here's the show Wonderstorm has been working on, Aaron Ehasz, Giancarlo Volpe, and so on. And they finally did reveal it here. Now, what was the layout of the panel? By all accounts, they came in, spoke very, very briefly about just the formation of the team, how they all met, teased going into like minute details of concept art, and then showed the audience the first episode. They then showed the trailer, which was released online to everyone, and ended with a couple of questions. From what I've seen so far, and I'm recording this only about an hour and a half after the end of the panel, and not much extra information has come out, I would say that they didn't give enough information, at least to the public. I'm sure people who were there got a great sense of what this show is, what it's about, the quality of the show, but I think the trailer that they put out for everyone else, the information that the official Twitter accounts and stuff like that is put out, to me doesn't give the greatest sense of what they're going for with this in terms of quality. So overall, I thought this was a relatively weak reveal, with saying that I actually don't particularly know how strongly I feel or don't feel about this show. Nothing that we have seen so far makes me believe that this is something like amazing, like utterly sensational, living up to the hype that was there because of Aaron Ehasz's name being attached to it. Now, that's not to say that perhaps when the episodes do come out and I watch it, it might actually blow me away, but I think this is all on how they've gone about releasing the information here, and I feel they went too light. We got, what was it, 50-second trailer, with barely any dialogue, barely any context. On Twitter they've revealed the names of like the main three characters and then the main like animal sidekick, and that's about it. Especially when the show is premiering in September, and apparently all episodes September 14th. I don't know what to make of that. Is it just a one season thing? Because that's surprising to me. Is not like, are we just gonna get dumped with like is it one season? Is it one short season? Is it a 26 episode season? Or are they kind of saying that like, oh, okay, actually here's like a full 2-3 seasons of a show? Like, I'm not even sure about like the scope of what it is that we're actually looking at here. And I think they're the sort of questions that they've sort of failed to answer upon initial reveal here, and we're only a couple of months away from the release of this thing as well. That's the most shocking thing of all. I think that we're under 2 months away from the release of this thing, and this is the big reveal. And I feel like they've pretty much only explained the show properly to the people in the panel there who got to see the first episode, because by all accounts, the show has a prologue that sets up the world quite well. I won't go into it here because I don't want to talk about spoilers. But, you know, there's that, and I feel like, why doesn't the trailer have a little bit of the prologue kind of narration to get us into things? So they're my kind of initial impressions. I'll talk about the trailer a little bit now and present some of the information that we do know about, and then I'll end with some more discussion. So, yeah, so we open up with this actually really nice background shot here of just this castle. The background shots definitely look really, really cool. We then cut and see this king character surrounded by a bunch of soldiers. This is where I'll discuss the animation here at the start. I think the art style is fine. Watching the trailer in motion, the animation, the movement itself doesn't look great right now. That's the distinction that I'd make with the art style, and that I think in screenshots this actually looks pretty good. In movement though, it feels choppy right now, and admittedly we're pre-release. I don't know how the actual episode that they showed looked or anything like that. I haven't really seen any comments on it just yet. But the little bits of motion that you see in the trailer here feel a little bit, stilted, and that's the fear here, is that maybe they've cheaped out a little bit on the animation and are hoping to make up for that with the quality of the writing, world building, and voice acting and so on. But either way, we get this king here. He walks in, is presented by, I assume, one of the main kind of soldiers, some knight or something like that, presented with his sword, and that's really about it. Again, I don't know what to really make of this, apart from the main theme that they seem to be going for right now is this conflict between humans and elves over something or other. And so this is obviously the leader of the humans, or at least a faction of humans. Then we cut to this character getting held up by knives by an elf, and we see that this is, I think this is meant to be our main female character that we've seen from the trailers, whose name is Rayla, or Ayla. And they specifically say on Twitter, this is one of the things that they do say, that she is a moon shadow elf. And we'll get into some of that as we go through this. So I think we get a better shot of her up next. This is, I think, the shot on Twitter that they used to confirm that this is the character. She's going to be voiced by Paula Burrows. I'm not particularly sure what other roles that she's had, but there we go. Our elf character there. She's fighting on top of the walls of a castle, basically, against this other Moonshadow elf character. They look like they have kind of similar markings over some reason, and they're about to have this fight. We see the moon is in the background. They're Moonshadow elves. Next, we get a look at, I think, our younger prince character, because the main trio of characters are two princes who are brothers, one younger, one older, and then this elf kind of female character. This is Prince Ezran, who's voiced by Sasha Rojan, and he has this toad thing called bait. I think they specify. Oh, it's called a glow toad. On Twitter, they mentioned that it's called a glow toad, and it's called bait. And we'll see exactly what that's up to in a minute. This, I think, is our absolute main character, voiced by Jack DeSena, voice of Sokka, of course, and his name is Prince Callum. We see him here seemingly doing some sort of magic. I think it's like wind magic. It could be water or ice. I think they show a bit of a cyclone of air, so I think it's more wind, but it could be like icy wind. I'm not really sure. Next, we get to see this character who is different. It's definitely not our previous elf character, so this is someone different with a bow here, and obviously they fire the arrow off, and we get a look at the arrow here. It's kind of got a bit of a bird head on it. It's got some lights coming off it, and we see it transform into a bird. So it's some sort of a magical arrow where it transforms from an object into an actual living thing, and that's pretty cool as like a cool way to launch a kind of communications bird of some sort. So that's pretty cool that the elves are magic, and they seem to be presenting that potentially the humans aren't as magic, but that might be the unique aspect of one of our main characters, that they have a proclivity towards magic, and it's kind of unusual for humans to be like that. Then we see elves fighting humans, as I think that's Callum who is crawling through the halls. They seem to be setting up that the elves are coming to fight the humans at this castle. That seems to be, I think, the main plot setup that we have here. The reason they're glowing, I believe, is, I don't know if this has been confirmed, but some sort of a power about the elves relating to the moon. So the moon is out, so it seems to transform the elves into some sort of a like more powerful form, or like more violent form, something like that. But anyway, next we get the glow toad, Bait, actually glowing, so that's what he does, and it's obviously Ezran's pet. Then we get this shot of, like, it seems like this scene where you activate the glow toad happens when the three main characters potentially meet for the first time, and the flash of the toad is what kind of stops it from being this like assassination attempt, because I think that's the plot setup that we have, is that she is coming to assassinate either one of the princes or like the king for some reason, and then this toad is obviously what helps them to escape. We get introduced to what looks like either just a standard magic user or potentially a villain character who seems to have some powers. Pretty unique female design here. and she uses this power where she kind of summons these kind of spirit wolf things, which seem really, really cool. Then we cut back to the fight from earlier, but you can see very clearly now that the person she's fighting, his skin has kind of gone all dark, and he's this is when the fight properly starts. So I think the same effect is on Ray. What's it again? The female character's name, Rayla. The same effect is on her as well. So this seems to be some sort of a power that the elves, or these Moonshadow elves, have. Then they kind of end it with this kind of insert shot of the dragon, Dragon Prince. Here's an actual dragon, which obviously is going to be important in some way. I think they're very much setting up the idea that the dragon is going to be the most legendary creature in the entire show, and it'll relate to the lore in some way. And then they ended with all episodes September 14th, which I think it's vague, but I'm taking it as on September 14th we are getting everything that is the Dragon Prince as a TV show. I think. I don't think they're just saying season 1 or something like this. Unless they're doing it in some sort of a way where it is this bigger expanded universe and this is just one story within it. And then the second season is actually going to be some other story somewhere else in the universe. And it's going to be a sort of anthology type thing. But I don't think they've said anything along those lines. So right now, based on what I know, just after the big reveal, the world premiere of this thing that they've been teasing for weeks, I feel like I barely know any information about this. I feel the trailer was interesting in some ways, but it doesn't present enough information to make me really get behind what's going on here, in that I really wouldn't have a clue what's going on here if I hadn't read the specific tweets that they've put out, or using the context that I know from following one person who was live blogging during the episode. So I have some context for the kind of spoilers from the first episode to kind of talk a little bit about what's going on here. Otherwise, I think it is definitely just not enough information, overly vague, and I don't quite know how they got it so wrong in a way of going so light on information so close to the release as well. I get for shows like Voltron, obviously yesterday they had the season 7 kind of a trailer and stuff like that. You don't need to go overboard. You've sold everyone on that show in the early seasons. You only need to do little teasers. But this is the first reveal of this show. It's the first reveal of any project that Wonderstorm is working on, and I just don't get the greatest sense of what exactly it is, in that I'm not blown away by what I've seen here. I think it looks interesting. I'm absolutely going to give it a shot. I'll be reviewing at least the first couple of episodes when it comes out. I don't think there's anything that's going to happen that's going to make me just not look into this show. I want to see what it is. But it's not that the trailer instantly has me hooked and I'm yes, I'm in for the entire run of this show, whatever. And that's where I think they've maybe gone a little bit too hard on down the road of oh, you'll watch this show just because it's made by Aaron Ehasz and they don't feel the need to give us any more information. So hopefully they attempt to put out more information about what's going on, but I don't really know if they will or not. So I suspect we probably will get another trailer, probably a more in-depth trailer closer to release, but right now I don't have I'm not super pumped about this show in the way that I think I could have been. When I first actually saw Voltron in action, I was actually this looks really, really good, and I'm do really want to see what this is. This doesn't have that yet, because I have some doubts about the animation in motion, and just them giving no information basically in the trailer about what's going on. So yeah, that's my initial impressions on this. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on what we saw here. How excited are you based on the animation style? And then I think it's important to frame all of this in the context that this is the first reveal of this show. This isn't like revealing like a second season of this thing we already know about. We knew nothing basically before today, and this is meant to be this will sell you on getting into this series. How was that for you, and are you excited based on what we've seen? So yeah, that's my video for now. I'll probably do an update on this if we do get more information, but for now that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.